We will learn how to use Voiceflow to add, remove, or update data in Airtable. I am releasing this as a free preview lesson from my copy-paste AI agency course below, where you can learn to build any AI chatbot or automation with Make.com, Voiceflow, Airtable, and other tools, and also get one-on-one private coaching. Let's go to airtable.com, and I'm going to start from scratch. And let me close this. So I'm going to wait for a few moments, and then the first field, name, notes. So I will go ahead and delete all of these fields one by one. I will just leave name, status is unnecessary, and let me also say email, like that. And I think I press enter, yes. Now let's go to Voiceflow and say dev and API. And let's go back to Airtable and Developer Hub. I will create a new token. I will call it just tutorial, add scopes. So I want to be able to read data, and I want to be able to write data into records. And that's it. Add base. So it's this one, untitled base, that I just added last. And then create token. I will copy this token. I will leave it in the new tab here. I will press done and go to developer docs. And let me here go back to just airtable.com. Then let's scroll down in developer docs and say web API. Let's scroll down and click our untitled base. And let's also go here into our new untitled base that I created when I clicked starting from scratch. Okay, so let's go to authentication. We need to copy this URL. So we have table 1 here, so that's why this is called, if I go authentication, table 1. So this %20 means space bar, space between table and 1. So let's copy that URL into here get. So I'm just gonna do this. Let's go back, and I have authorization key, so copy authorization without columns, and then in header paste authorization. You will see -h, that means header, so that's why it's header, and then bearer, and then your secret API token. So let's copy this bearer. This is key, this is value. So this was key, and then it says here enter value, bearer, spacebar, and then copy this API key that you saved. So if I just go ahead, and since this is get, means we are getting data from database, we are not posting anything into the database, we are getting. So let me go back to database, and let me just say here enter some data. So if I go here and say send request, we should get this data immediately, because okay, so this is server error. Now we got 403, so let me resend. Since I'm getting that error, I'm not sure why, so let's just go here to base, and let's just rename. So it was untitled base, I just renamed it to base, and here table, just put one word for both. Maybe, I'm not sure why, but now that I save, let's go here to the documentation and refresh, and now copy this URL. So I'm not sure why that was some kind of bug or something, but let's copy this URL again, and let's paste it here, make sure it's pasted, and then click somewhere else to save it, and then send request. So now we have the ID records, some other fields, because we have 3 rows, 2 of them are empty and 1 has values. Now let's say I only want to retrieve this name column, not all of the other columns like email. We will go here to authentication, and we will say list records below. So in table, list records. We're gonna scroll down and click. Oh my God. We will go here to the docs, and below authentication there is your table, and then retrieve a record, actually list record, sorry, and then you see this API URL encoder tool. Let's go there. So this will help us build our URL, so it's right here. So this URL has these strings instead of our table and base names, but this is the same. It will work for you as well. It will have your strings for your database. So in fields, I want to retrieve only name. So I can just say name like this. And as soon as I say that, we get this fields and then name. So if I copy this link now, if I go here and I paste over it, click somewhere else to save, and then send a request, we only retrieved names. Now, let's say I want to retrieve only, okay, let's say I only want to retrieve where name is equal to Vuk. So I can, so this tool that they are providing us is a bit confusing. So we're going to use filter by formula, but I don't know how to write this formula. So what I'm going to do instead is copy this link and go to Claude AI. Paste this link and press Shift and Enter 2 times to scroll below and say update this link to only retrieve records where name is Vuk. So if I send this, Claude AI is the best at coding right now. It's Claude AI 3.5. So this is the link that it generated. I can click copy and let me go here and paste. Here, if we inspect a bit, it added this part and filter by formula equals, and then name, this is Vuk. Now this is the problem because we have this in curly brackets, and in curly brackets in Voiceflow this will be converted into a variable. So this may not work, but let's see, maybe it will work because we don't actually have name variable, we didn't create it, so maybe this will work. So this should, yes, okay, so it works. But as soon as we create this name variable, this will not work because we cannot put anything in curly brackets. So instead, I can actually simply remove these curly brackets and it's going to work for some reason. I'm not sure why exactly, but it's going to work. So filter by formula and then field name is equal to value, but under quotes. So if I go send request, it will retrieve this. And let's just say I don't want to retrieve just name. So so after the question mark, I'm gonna say fields is equal to name. I will delete this, and I also then don't need this end. And make sure that this is just below question mark. So I think this is going to retrieve now both the whole record where name is Vuk. So let me go here. Yeah, so it retrieved both name and the rest of the record, which is email. Claude AI is really good at this, so you can say, this is the link I have, I need you to change this link to only retrieve where name begins with letter K, and it's going to do it, I'm pretty sure. And it's going to work 100%, so I told it right now, I copied my link and said, now retrieve only records where a name begins with letter M, and it generated this formula. So then I'm gonna go back to the Voiceflow and I pasted it and then click somewhere else to save. And now it should retrieve Mark. You see Mark. If I change this name to Milo, for example, so it also begins with M, let me send a request again. It should return those two records, yeah, Mark and Milo. So you don't need to actually hard code this letter, for example, here. You can turn it into a variable. So let me delete this and let's create a new variable in curly brackets like this and say M. And then I'm going to click this plus button. Actually, this should not be called M. It should be called letter, for example, or first underscore letter. So I made this variable. And now I can, for example, ask user or use AI or whatever, ask user which variable you want, which first letter do you want. So here above, I'm going to set this. Let's say I set this first letter to be, I think I need quotes, so let's just say V. I think it doesn't matter if it's capital or not. So if I run this, not there, sorry. So I need to click this here and then say send request and then enter some variable V. This is just for testing. And then it retrieved successfully. So this is how it works. Now, if we want to, let's say, for example, we want to log the email. So the way we will access email is by saying records, and then this is an array, so records, and then first element of the array. So record 0, 0 is the first element in programming. It's a bit messed up, but 0 index is the first element. So records 0, second element has index 1, third element has index 2, etc. So records 0 and then fields, because this is inside of this bracket, so fields, and then inside we have email. So records 0, fields, email. So let's go here. So capture response. I'm gonna say response.records. So it always starts with response, and then inside you have object records, and then in square bracket 0, because this is the first element. If we had multiple, like names, multiple records, then if, for example, Mark was second element, we need to retrieve Mark, then we're gonna say number 1 too, because it's second element. And then it was, as I remember, fields and then email, like this. But I forgot if it's capital letters. So let me save this into a variable email. If you don't have this variable, just make it, clicking on this plus button. And let's, below that, let me log. So text, I'm gonna log, and I'm gonna log this email variable. So this email variable should be set to my email, because I'm gonna choose letter V, so it's gonna be Vuk, and then it should log my email if we got it right. Okay, so we did not get it right. Now it's 0. You can open this from the side and check that email is 0, which is not good. This should be my email. So email here is capital letters. So I think that's the problem. So let's go here and say capital email, and then click somewhere else to save. Let me first send this letter V just to check. So we have response.records, and then this is array, so 0th element, first element, and then fields, and then email. So that's correct. Okay, let me now run this again. And now it works. So we need to have the exact same casing as this Airtable field. So now it works. Now let's add some data to the database from Voiceflow. So let's add some email and name. Let me click here to somewhere else to turn off this live mode, the testing mode, and then I'm gonna say logic, dev and API. And now we need post request, because now we will be posting data. And header is gonna be the same, I think. So let's go here and just copy authorization and go here, add a new header, authorization, and then go back to the first one and copy the token and go to the second one and paste as value. Now let's go here in our table, let's go to create records, and so we have post, we already did that. And then let's copy this link, and I'm pretty sure we did that already, so no, we didn't, so let's paste it there. Okay, so content type application JSON. So let's copy content type without these columns. So this is going to be another header. So just add another header plus content type, and because this has dash h, so that's header application JSON. Let's copy it. But make sure to copy everything without quotes, like that. Let's go back and read. So we have this data. So when it says data, it means body. So let me go immediately here where it says body and add plus. And then let's first just go raw, and then just copy this whole object. So starting with curly brackets and ending with curly brackets without quotes. And then if I go here, let me click somewhere else to save this. And then if I say send request, so it looks like we have 200 betweens. It's okay. Now let's see if, yeah, we inserted those 2 rows. So we have 2 new rows. And as you remember, the reason we have 2 new rows is here. Let me maximize. So I said records, so fields. So this field, email, and then another field and these two. So if I say here whatever mark, if I just say send request, now it's gonna add Vuk and mark. So if I let me minimize this, so now it added Vuk and mark. You can actually set a variable here. So instead of saying name, you can say name like this, and this will be read as variable. So, but if I say send request, yeah, it asks me for the name. So let's just say whatever, I don't care right now. So generate, and if I go here, we got this name. That's how you put variables. They must be inside of quotes like this. If you want to add just one field, you would basically remove this second. If you just want to add one record, you would remove this second record. I'm just adding one record right now. And let's see what happens if I completely remove email. I think it might throw an error. Let me save. So whatever the name, I don't care. Okay, so it has error, could not parse request body. So you need to contain, you need to have all of the like fields. So if you wanna, you can just leave it as empty if you don't wanna like put anything in there. And now if I send request, it should be 200 OK. And now the email here is empty. So I'm not sure how to do it in this like kind of form data kind of way. So I just tried something, but let's just keep with raw this field. So let's just do it like this. And if you want to add multiple fields, if you forgot how to add multiple fields at once, just go here and check. So this is what you do. You make an array of fields like this. And then let me copy this. Let me show you how to add third field. But I need to copy this whole object inside of brackets. So we do this. And if I want a third field, so inside of records array, I just copy this, put comma here, and then paste. And now I have third field. So if I set whatever, just so you can see, if I send, we added these new fields here. Now let's say how to update existing record. So you need to say update, and then basically you're gonna do the same as post. So this is the same as creating, so everything is the same. The body is just different. So let's copy this body data. So let me go to the post one. So let's scroll down in row. I'm gonna delete all of this and paste this. Now we need to have the ID of the record, but since we don't, like, you don't know this, you're not gonna know this ID. So the IDs are not shown here. So I think we first need to get this record. So let me go here where we are getting, and let me just retrieve all of the records. So I'm going to delete all of this part and question mark. And then if I go down, I wanna first check what this gives me. So here we need to save this ID. So this is in records, number 0 ID for this. So I'm gonna save into, I'm gonna create a new ID variable like this. Create a new variable ID, but it should not have, as you see here, I need to remove these curly brackets, and then create a new variable. And then here it will not be .fields, it will be .id, because if you remember, records 0 ID. Okay, so now we got the ID of the first one. If you wanna choose another one, for example, maybe, but let's say the first one, let's say you are only getting there is only one record that's going to fulfill your criteria. So you put some criteria, like it's unique, unique criteria, you know only one record will fulfill, so then it will always be the first one. So with index 0, record 0, if it returns only one record. Okay, so now we set this ID. I don't need to, let me actually just log the ID. like this. And then let's go here. And then I want to update this, so we need to go down here, and where it says ID, I think I will just remove this and set ID like this in curly brackets. And then let's just set name to Oliver, whatever. And then that should be it. So if I run this, guys, I made a mistake. When you are updating, you need to use patch, not post. So let's go here where we have here post. I'm gonna say patch. If I run again, the first one is Vuk, so it should be renamed into Oliver as soon as this decides to run. Okay, the fifth one got renamed for some reason. First of all, I had a wrong link in the get, so I need to put it like this. Do I need 27 here? I don't think so. Let me check here. I don't need any of this, so let me just copy this lower. So I don't need these 27s. Just need equal here. So this is the correct formula. And also, let's make sure we get a specific, so we target a specific input. So I have only one word with a letter R, so I set this to change whatever starts with R to Oliver, because if I say V, it will not target the first one from top V, it will target the first one created, and the first one created is like maybe this one, I think, or this one. So we don't even know which one it will target, so let's just be specific when we are targeting things in database. So let's start. So it will not work because I forgot to add quotes around this get variable. So after this equals, I have a quote. There is no spaces in between words and quotes. So and then quote at the end, and make sure everything is the same. So this is record 0 ID, so the first record that we get. And now let's start. So this should change this Ralph as we watch Oliver. Yes. And now let's see how to delete our record. So we're gonna have the same URL but delete method. So let's go here into, instead of patch, I'm gonna change this to delete, same URL, and we don't need content type application JSON. So if we go here, there is no content type, there is only authorization. And then I'm going to just manually encode this into URL. So I'm gonna copy this records equals and then the ID. So we will hard code it for now. Let's go here in the URL, put question mark, and then just paste it. There is no gaps in between. So I think that's it. If I send the request, it should delete one of them. So now there is 13. And now there is 12. So one of them was deleted. And it's this one that was deleted. So let's go here where it says records. Let's set the ID variable here. And now I want to delete one that starts with R. So we have, let's say, rough. So I'm going to go here and start. And it should just delete this automatically. So we will wait for a few, and it deleted it. So that's it. If you want to delete multiple records, then you would just, so until this point is the same, and then you say end, and then records, and then the ID2. Check the copy paste AI agency course below and my private coaching. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.